Um, Welcome everybody to Kicking It with Sensei, and today is day 3 of our Female Warriors Week, and we've got Jayln Croft Rangel with us today. And if you want to give a wee bit of background on your martial arts, Jayln, that'd be great.
Sure. So I started martial arts when I was 8. So that was actually back in 2000. I just hit 20 years this September. And I started in like kind of a mixed style of martial arts. It was kind of weird. I don't even know how to explain it. But I was there for about 5 years, and then that school closed. And they just suggested another school for us to go to, and that one happened to be Taekwondo. So I got my black belt right before we switched to that school, and then they honored my rank, but it took me, I would say, 3.5 years to then test for first degree there. So it kind of slowed down my progress a little bit, but I ended up liking Taekwondo a lot more than the other style. So it worked out pretty well. And then I actually bought that school at the beginning of March of this year. So it's kind of come full circle.
Excellent. And what first got you interested in martial arts?
Sorry?
What first got you interested in training in martial arts?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty funny story. So my brother dressed up as Chuck Norris for Halloween one year, and then I just like wore the uniform around the house for a couple of years, and I just wanted the uniform. So I kept asking, and then eventually my parents found a school and got me into it. And honestly, what motivated me throughout the whole thing was the belts. Like I just kept wanting the different belts. So I'm like a huge proponent of that. I know like a couple styles don't have belts, but I think it's a huge motivator, especially for kids to like get those different colors. It definitely was for me.
It's great for setting the small goals over time.
Yes,
So
exactly.
and what do you believe the mindset behind the martial art is? Well,
I
especially
think,
Taekwondo, but
yeah, I think there's like such a huge mindset behind martial arts. I think like it's especially in Taekwondo, you've got like the tenets of Taekwondo. And my favorite one is perseverance. And I think it really teaches somebody, like you said, you've got those short-term goals, and then of
yeah,
course the long-term goal of black belt and up through the ranks of black belt. But I think it teaches you how to set goals and consistently show up to something and able to get that goal. And I think that's something that really correlates into life as well.
yeah. Do you practice Olympic style Taekwondo, or is it more the traditional?
It's more of the traditional style. So we do the like ITF style forms, but
Yeah,
we don't use sine wave. We do like the really traditional ones.
yeah,
And then our sparring style it leans a little bit more towards World Taekwondo just because my husband teaches sparring and he
yeah,
grew up in World Taekwondo. So he prefers that sparring style
yeah,
to like point and stuff like that.
yeah,
But the form wise, we do ITF.
yeah. So who would win a sparring match between you and your husband, do you think? I have to ask when you put it out.
Probably him, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the benefits of training in martial arts are?
I think they're endless. Like you get into good shape. I've seen plenty of people just completely transform, like starting as an adult, if they were overweight, just lose all their weight and completely transform into having a healthy lifestyle. As a kid, it teaches, like I said, that goal setting and also respect for everyone and stuff like that. I think just it's endless what you can learn from martial arts and just being a better person, not even
Yeah,
like an athlete, but just a better person, you know?
yeah. I think the philosophy behind a lot of them
Yeah.
help in life. And what do you feel you got in life out of training martial arts outside of the dojan?
Yeah, I think I got a lot more confidence. I've always been more of like an introverted person, especially as a kid. I was very quiet, but it gave me more like confidence in myself just to like walk around with your head held high and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, the perseverance, like there's plenty of stuff in life that you have to persevere through, whether it be school and like going on to college and getting your degree, even when you don't want to show up for class and stuff like that. That's just starting it when I was 8 years old and having to go to martial arts class, you know, 2 to 3 times a week up until, I mean, now I'm there every single night. It's instilled this in me to just like, when you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah. Do you think you get the same opportunities as a woman as your male counterparts got in training over the years?
I think I did. Mostly, like, when I was a kid, I didn't even notice the fact that there were less girls than there were guys in class. It just wasn't even something that I noticed. As an adult, I've seen a little bit more of like, some people will question, like myself and my husband were the same rank. And I've been in a situation where somebody's questioned my rank and they haven't questioned his. And he's actually younger than me. So I was like, what, you know, but it had nothing to do with age. It just had to do with like, they were going to question whether or not I deserved that rank. And then a couple of years ago, I tried to get into Muay Thai. And when I first showed up to that class, the Muay Thai instructor said something about like, oh yeah, you know, for any female that takes my class, like you can go grab a water break whenever you want. I don't have, you know, you don't have to wait for the water break or this and that. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? You know?
It's unbelievable.
So yeah, so there's been like a couple of instances that I'm like, really? But really, like, not any huge ones. I haven't felt like a huge difference.
Yeah, I've noticed now with my daughter training as well now, I've noticed her being treated differently in certain styles than she has than I would have been at the time. No, but,
right, they kind of like, sometimes they try to, I've seen two sides of it. Either they try to like baby you a little bit, or they go harder on you to try to like prove a point.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, why can't you just treat it the exact same? But
yeah. I know with her now, it was she's been training for quite a while and then went and cross trained in another style, and they wouldn't let her train with the boys.
Oh wow.
Kind of thing, but we were thinking she would beat up most of the boys anyway because she's been training a lot longer, but that was just the way it was. And do you think there's any good female role models out there in the martial arts at the minute?
You know, I even tried to like research this because there were none that really like popped into my head. But what I think is, I love what social media has ended up doing. So there's a couple of female martial artists that I follow on social media, and I think I really enjoy following them because they show like the raw side of it. So one of them being Alex Wong, and then the other one is Samurai Moraz. They both have huge followings, but they also show like, oh, I'm injured. Let me show you my recovery process and this and that. So it's not like a Hollywood martial artist where you just see them at their best. I think it's great when like these social media martial artists show them like trying to get a kick and failing time and time again, and then eventually getting it. Like, I think that's something that's really important to see, and that's starting to come out in social media.
Yeah, it's great. Now, the thing I noticed was when I tried to put this Female Warrior Week together, it was actually quite difficult to find female martial artists, even on social media. And, like, I came across yourself through Mike over at Zen Dragon. He actually pointed me in your direction, but I was asking everybody, and I only got maybe 8 or 9 female martial artists I could find on YouTube.
Wow.
So I was very shocked by it. But,
it is shocking. Like, when I started to look up, I just tried to even like Google like best female martial artist, and honestly, I didn't even recognize a lot of their names. So I don't know. It is crazy.
Did you have any role models growing up and training?
Weirdly enough, it was like the only female instructor I had. I don't even remember her last name, but her first name was Nina, and we called her Miss Nina. And looking back on it, like, I was young. I thought she was like an adult. And looking back on it, she's probably like 17. And so she was teaching us, and I just like, I looked up to her so much just because she was the only like female black belt instructor that I had. So I don't even honestly know if she was good, you know. I just knew she was a girl and she was where I wanted to be.
It was great to have that.
I'm able to do that to some of my female students also.
Yeah. And what would be your favorite aspect of Taekwondo? Would it be the sparring or the forms or breaking or beating up guys?
I definitely love forms. That's pretty much the only thing I've competed in. I tried to compete in sparring a little bit and it's just not my thing. Like I love training sparring, but I'm not the best at it. But I do love how like intricate forms are and how you can break down every single move. And it just takes so much to make a form look great. But I like that you mentioned board breaking. We only pretty much do that at testing, but I've always looked forward to it.
It's probably the most well-known part of Taekwondo now, would be.
Right, exactly. And it's
unbelievable.
something that like if somebody comes up to you and they're not a martial artist, they're always like, can you break a board? Can you break this? You know, like it's something that everybody knows that martial artists do.
Yeah. Do you have a different view on martial arts now since you've taken over your own dojan and you've kind of become the school owner rather than just the instructor?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Going from just like having a love of martial arts to now having to sell it and sell yourself is pretty much what you're doing. You know, you're selling yourself as an instructor, and then just dealing with the financial side of a business and everything. It's something that most people who just teach like never really have to deal with. And it's given me like a different appreciation of just running a business, but at the same time it's like I can no longer really jump in and train during class times because I'm having to talk to parents or teach or whatever. So I've had to really work around that schedule and find my own time to train on my own. So it's given me that, but it's definitely a different thing that I'm still getting used to. It's only been about 5 or 6 months that I've owned the place. So
it seems a lot longer. I've been
yeah.
looking through your YouTube channel, the Dream Dosian, and following the series the last week, and it's just unbelievable how it's came along. And
Thank you. Yeah, we've been so hard at work. Like it's been so much, but I'm so proud of how it's turned out.
yeah. And what makes Taekwondo your favorite martial art?
I think just like it, I don't know if this makes sense, but the art of it, like it's so pretty. I don't necessarily think personally that Taekwondo is a great like self-defense art because it's turned into more of a sport and more of a like how high can you do your kick and how nice can it look and you know how fast can you kick. Like I don't think Taekwondo sparring is really going to help you if you have to use it in like a self-defense situation. But I think Taekwondo is really impressive with all of like the spinning kicks and the jumping and all of that. It just looks really cool. So I think also it's a great like base art. So if somebody started in Taekwondo and got their black belt, then maybe they could move on to something else and find Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu or something like that, whereas then they could become a really like well-rounded martial artist. But it gives you a great base of like being able to control your body and everything.
Yeah, excellent. And finally, where can people find you online? I know you have a great YouTube channel, but are you on Facebook, Instagram, or anywhere else?
I am on Instagram. My handle is Jayln, Jalyn _kicks, KICKS. And then I have a Twitter, but I honestly never tweet. It's not really my thing, but I think it's the same handle. And then you can find me on Facebook at Jayln Croft, Croft.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Jayln, for giving us just some time today. And it was an honor.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you very much. And all the best.
You too. Thank you.